This is the road to Northallerton. Well, this is Bedale Beck. This is normally a little rivulet, so we'll probably jump across. Unbelievable, I've never seen anything like it. It normally follows that little run of trees down there. At the moment it must be nearly, what? It must be 200-300 yards wide. September. The weir has all but disappeared. And the lead sign on the wall is underwater. So there you can see the river and there you can see the road. There's still a lot to go. And from what I've seen at Morton Bridge, if I was in this bottom flat I would be a bit worried. Anyway, over the way is Mike, who is fishing there under his bivvy. I don't know what that means. Well, this is Topcliffe Car Park. You can't get anywhere near the river. Straight away up with traffic within a few yards of the road, never mind anywhere else. Impossible to fish this left bank. And worse tomorrow apparently. So they tell us. It's rained like hell for 2 days. Somebody last week said we need some rain in the river, but this is just ridiculous. It's as high as I've ever seen it. So if you're going to fish you need to find somewhere safe, well out of the way, because by hell if you slipped off a steep bank and fell in and you looked up and saw the Humber Bridge, you'd know you'd be in big bother. So it's just about up to the top of the arch here. You can see it there. Amazing. And more to come. It is very much downstream of Morton Bridge, where you can't even see the fields. All you can see is the odd house sticking up through the water. This is at Fordington. No way you can fish that. That's unbelievable. It's just about up on the road. So this is Asenby, and there you can see the island, and you can see downstream the whole of the opposite side there, down by Sheep Hills, is flooded. Barwell-like flood conditions. This is probably a bit too much, and they like that sediment in the water, that soily look about the water. So if you're coming to fish for barbel in these conditions, it's important that you choose somewhere where it's safe to fish. You don't want to step off the bank and suddenly find yourself in 15-20 feet of fast flowing water, such as some of the pegs at Topcliffe, although you can't get up them today. Similarly, you don't want to be in a flat field facing the river, and when you find that the river burst its banks and sneaked round behind you, so you're left on a little island, cut off from your car. I mean, mobile phones are a real bonus these days, but obviously you can summon a rescue in that way. So what I've got here then is a nice sloping grassy bank. I know that it slopes all the way down. I'm familiar with the river at this point, because that's another thing. You should really be familiar with the river. I know that there are next to no snags in here, so if I do get a fish on, the chances are I'm going to be able to land it. And I know that I'm not going to be cut off by the river sneaking around over the bank behind me. I know I'm on the right side of the river, so that should all the bridges be closed across the River Swale, which seems highly probable, I know I'll be able to get home. Anyway, we'll get cast in now and see what it brings. Absolutely. Well, it's still raining like hell, and as you can see from the river there, it's high. So we'll get cast in now, and I don't know whether we're going to barbel on or not. The water is still cold, but I'll sit behind the paper and have a smoke and a cup of tea and listen to this rain hammering down on this umbrella. The nice thing about fishing right bank here is, with it being the wind is from the southwest, it would seem, and the bank is quite high, so I'm quite sheltered here. And hopefully my brolly won't blow into the river. There's a big sedge just come off the water there. Amazing. So I'm fishing the slow moving water down the inside here. Well, I'm just looking at the water now, and it's still coming up very, very quickly. So there's worse to come. As if this isn't bad enough. This must be the worst flood for several years, and it's obviously going to be even worse. So it's come up 4 inches. I've only been here 20 minutes. So it's and it's still hammering down with rain. Well, it's come up nearly a foot in an hour. So I've had to move further up the bank. There's mountains and mountains of rubbish coming down as well. Anyway, I've just snapped the lead off, so I'll have to set the whole thing up again, which is a bit annoying. When I arrived, this tree was out of the water. So it's come up a substantial lump. And you can see over there where it's breached the bank and spread into those fields there. A pretty awesome sight all in all, but no fish. Well, it's been a pretty impressive day riverscape wise. It's still lashing down with rain now. We're 2 days of it. So all this water has come into the river in the last, well, since yesterday lunchtime. And I suspect it's going to take several days to dissipate before it gets back down to anything like reasonable. Anyway, there were 4 people fishing today in various bits of the river, spread out. We were about 4 miles apart, and I haven't heard anything from anybody. So I'm assuming that no fish were caught. And I suspect tomorrow it's going to be just as bad. So there'll probably even fewer of us tomorrow. I certainly won't be out tomorrow. But, anyway, I'm going to call it a day now. I hate backing in when it's raining. It's terrible. Everything's wringing wet through. But it's only a short walk across this field to the car. Hopefully I'll be able to get straight on. But for now, I hope you enjoy the riverscape, and I'm sorry there's no fish. But that's the way it is. Anyway, take care. Good night. This is the Environment Agency graph for the river level at Morton-on-Swale, and you can see that from 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon until 3 o'clock in the morning, which is what, 12 hours, the river level had increased at Morton-on-Swale by 17 feet. It's absolutely amazing. And then once it bursts its banks, of course, the river level, the increase in the level begins to level off. As the water, instead of increasing the level of the river, just spreads all over the fields. But the current level is higher than the previous highest level. And you can see that the level at Morton-on-Swale is 6.55 metres, which is much higher than the previous level, which was 6.47. So, pretty impressive.